Hi guys, this is just a video clip to show you what I've done to change the clutch slave cylinder on my Aprilia Falco motorbike. I'm not a mechanic, that's my first admission. In fact, the last time I tried to do anything serious like this was about 15 years ago on my first 125, and I haven't done any maintenance apart from obviously tyres, tyre pressures and adjusting a chain. That's about it. So I'm a complete noob when it comes to mechanics. I can fix simple things on a bicycle, adjusting gears and brakes and stuff, but basically I'm a novice. So I was unsure about doing this, but you know, I wanted to get better with maintaining my motorbike, and to do some simple tasks. This was supposed to be simple. It's turned out to be a bit of a challenge, but that's, I think, because I'm so new to it. So hopefully you guys can, or girls can, learn from my mistakes, and also maybe get some information from this video. So basically, what is the first thing that I had to do to get in here? First thing I had to do was to undo this bolt, which is the gear lever. This rod goes, basically attaches to the gear lever here, and you have to undo this. So obviously not by hand, it's a just a spanner, small spanner. Take that off. Now the first problem I came up against was very tightly jammed on, and I couldn't, you know, even with quite some force, I couldn't pull it off. So after some quick advice from some of the guys on the Facebook group, I went out and bought some of this Plus Gas. It's basically a dismantling lubricant. You can use, I'm told, WD-40 as well, but this stuff has worked for me. It's really helped, and all I did was sprayed in here, jostled it a bit. It still wouldn't come off. I sprayed a bit more. It got a bit of movement. I sprayed a bit more and then left it for basically half an hour, or an hour, and then came back, gave it a tug, and it came off. So that comes off, and there, basically that's it. So yeah, once you've got that off, you'll then have the sprocket cover, which is this thing, which will, which way around does it go? Can't work it out now. I think it's like that. Yeah. So it'll look like that when it's on. So you have to undo the bolts, basically slide this off. Because of the problems with the slave cylinder, there's loads and loads of gunge in here, which I've cleaned off. Basically under this lip here, or around that lip, there was tons of gunge, which I've cleaned off. I've since found out that for getting rid of that kind of gunge, soapy water is only does so much, and what you really need is brake cleaner. So I use brake cleaner to clean that. Actually, I didn't. I used soapy water for that one, and then I used brake cleaner for the next bit, which comes off, which I'll show you. This is the gasket, kind of stainless steel, I think, gasket that goes around the sprocket here. That was covered in gunge, so I took that off. I soaked that in brake cleaner, and it's not perfect, but it's looking a lot cleaner than it was. So that comes off. Just also because it was, I'm not sure. This bike is 2001, so I don't know the last time. Obviously, the last time this came off would have been to put the chain on, I suppose. Don't quote me. But anyway, there's loads of gunge in here, so I just cleaned that out with a kebab stick. Probably not in the handbook, but it worked for me. So yeah, cleaned all that out. Then we had then you've got access to the slave cylinder, which is here. There were various tubes coming down here, so I just moved these out of the way. They were going through this little loop, nice and tidy to point downwards, but I basically pulled those out and put them up here to one side. Then you've got this is basically a that's the hydraulic line, so that goes up to the clutch lever on the handlebars. So that was attached with a banjo bolt. I think it's called the banjo bolt, and that's this one here. So that goes into the top of the slave cylinder, and this kind of cap on the top is what you will use later, as I understand it, for bleeding the hydraulic line. But basically, to take off the slave cylinder, you need to unscrew this. So get a spanner onto this bit here, and basically it twists off, and then you will then be left with the slave cylinder, which will be attached to the bike like, just one second, like this. It'll be basically bolted on there. You undo the bolts. The bit in the top there, that's where the banjo bolt will be that I just showed you. You basically undo the bolts with an Allen key or socket set, and you pull it off. You're left with this pin in there, which I thought the pin might come out, but pretty sure that stays in. So, next problem I encountered was basically this bit here was seized. It would not budge, basically. This bit was kind of seized together into one kind of lump. I tried pulling and tugging and just couldn't get it apart. So again, good old friend Plus Gas. I basically sprayed the Plus Gas onto this. Now there's a helpful, just one second, sorry. In there you can just see, in there you can see a little gap which allows, it's probably not designed for this, but allowed me to spray some Plus Gas in there, leave it for half an hour, twist it a bit, and it basically took probably 2 hours of soaking in Plus Gas to actually release this. So that was the first problem, but finally I got that off. And then, just show you, this comes apart. So this is just the top of the cylinder, and then you've got this is where all the action happens, I suppose. You've got where is it, so the top there, that's where the hydraulic line goes in, so your hydraulic fluid goes in there. And then here you've got the piston with a spring, so that's just empty in there apart from a hole at the bottom for the hydraulic fluid to go into. Then you've got a spring. The spring just pops off, and then you've basically got this. Now this little bugger was a nightmare, because I had this type of seal around here, just underneath my finger there, in that kind of area in the middle there. So that was actually quite tough to get off. In the end I had to slice through the seal, which was just a rubber seal, rubber all the way through. So sliced through that and it popped off, no problem. I've got no idea how I'm going to get the seal back on again, but we'll come to that. And then the other problem I had was the seal that goes in here. That seal will look something like this. This is the new seal that I've bought to replace. The seal that actually came out is here. You can see I made a real dog's dinner of it. It's actually metal inside. I didn't realise that. I thought it would be rubber all the way through. It's not. It's metal on the inside. It was incredibly difficult to get out. I tried, first of all, a flathead screwdriver. That's what some of the guys on the forum have used successfully. Mine was, I don't know if it was caked on or baked on or what, but it was not budging for love or money. In the end, as you can see, I've tried hacking at it to try and cut through what I thought was rubber. It wasn't, it was metal. I tried pliers to pull it out. I actually thought that I damaged the piston, you can see there's ever so slight nicks on the side, which I'm hoping doesn't affect this piston or create any leaks or anything. I hope it doesn't. And yeah, that's basic. I basically got it out in the end by, again, using the plus gas, soaking it for a couple of hours, and then I was able to basically prise it out just using a flathead screwdriver in the end. So that finally popped out. Now I'm just going to put all this back together. I'm going to use some silicone grease inside here, put all this back together, and reassemble. Then I've got I'll attempt to bleed the clutch line. I may go to a mechanic then, because I don't want to have a clutch line that's got air in it. But I'm going to attempt that next. But that is basically where I've got to. Hopefully that's been helpful. Yeah, good luck if you're trying to do the same thing. Thanks a lot, guys. Bye bye.